This is the brand new trending Rick Shiels chipping method. And I have to say, it is pretty good. Now in this video, I'm going to talk you through how you can implement it into your swing yourself. Also, let's test it because there are 3 releases. Release 1, your low shot. Release 2, your medium. And release 3, your high shot. Now I saw all this information from Dan Grieve and Rick Shiels took a lesson from him. So let's get into release 1. So I've broken each release down into 3 simple steps. Release 1, our more running shot. We're firstly going to get a higher handle. So our golf club will be sort of looking more toe touching the ground than heel. And this will encourage you to stand closer. Okay. Now you can also notice there are little subtle differences as we go through that my ball position is towards the back of my stance and my weight is on my left. Now the third main point of this style is that there are very little wrists through this whole motion. I almost sort of got from this the feeling of thumbs pointing to the ground, and that's how I would imagine I would pick this shot out in order to implement it myself. So you can really see this is sort of what we're going to feel is our, and I would say for most club golfers, normal golfers, the likes of me and you, our most repeatable method, and the one that you would probably look to go to 90% of the time. Just changing your club to alter the range of height. So I've got my 58 here. If you did this with 9-iron, it would go a lot lower. But the first release is this. Nice and simple summary. Handle higher, stand closer, less wrists on the shot. So like back and through. Really feeling very little wrists throughout this whole shot. This could be very, very close. Go on then. Oh. Okay, let's move on to release 2. Now you'll also notice we're not at home. We're in the beautiful Infinitum Resort here in Tarragona on the Hills course. I love the back 9 here. There are some fantastic holes, especially 18 up towards the clubhouse. That view is insane. So release 2. This is our sort of medium height shot, and I guess this is a great example of a big slope away from us. We need to get it sort of landing a bit softer and just rolling down towards the flag. Now, on a very tight lie, this will create a lot of spin, and this is what I found. But we're going to play this off a little bit of a cushioned lie here. So the 3 differences here are, number 1 is that we're going to stand a little bit further away from this ball. So we're not going to get high handle and close. We're going to get a little further away and a wider stance. My ball position as well in that whole point number 1 here is a little bit more towards the front / middle of my stance. So front portion will be absolutely perfect there. Now, as we move down the line here, I want you to focus on this. Last time we said about thumbs down, no wrists. The wrists start to move in this shot. And in the backswing for point number 2, we want to feel as though the toe of the club is a little bit more up. This will encourage a little bit of cupping of this left wrist. And essentially, we got more loft, more speed, more spin, more height. Okay? And on the way through for point number 3, we want to feel as though the butt of the club points back at your belt buckle. So if I just make a few practice swings here for you to see this, it's more toe up, back at belt buckle, more toe up, back at belt buckle. Just to bring in that comparison here on the side of the screen, we were more toe down and over on our previous shot and less wrists, okay? So if I hit this one away here, you'll see how for such a short shot, toe up, back at me, it pops up a hell of a lot in a short space of time. And you know what I've really found that the sensation was that it makes it really easy to do it because you've got everything working in the right order. So we've got a little wider stance, we're a little further away, ball moving forwards in our stance, more middle to forwards. We've got the toe up in the backswing for point number 2 on the way through. This end of the club here, have a look at this in player cam, points back at my belt buckle. I've got the loft on the club there. That's what we're looking to achieve. And I would strongly consider comparing that to what you do right now, because you are needing this shot in your game. Because so often we are in that situation where we just need a little bit of a lob, a little bit of height to get us out of trouble when we're short-sided, going down a slope and not got much green to work with. Okay, we have our final release here, release 3, short-sided. Now, to give you a little bit of feedback on this whole technique so far, I would say, as my honest review, is that you're going to use your release 1 around about 90% of the time. You're going to use release 2 around 7% of the time. This final one, I would say, apart from when you use it in a bunker, you're going to use release 3 maybe 3% of the time at most. Like, sometimes you've got to think, do I need to play this high tariff shot? Can I just hit it into the middle of the green and take a 2-putt? That's what I would encourage most golfers to do. But nevertheless, release 3, these are the points you've got to follow. A much wider base, moving that ball further forward in our stance, okay? Now, in the actual technique and the shot, it's going to be similar to release 2 in that backswing, okay, with that toe up. But on the way through now, instead of pointing the butt end of the club at our belt buckle, we're going to point it at our right pocket, okay? So more release, more loft under. And the final thing, we're going to have much lower hands. And one thing that I would note here, the lower you put your hands, the higher that ball is going to go. And think about this logically, only use it when you've got a bit of cushion under that ball. Look at the height on that. Whew, that is landing like a butterfly with sore feet. From this situation, that isn't bad. Now you'll notice I put a hell of a lot of speed in that. So there you go. My summary of the 3 releases of Rick Shiels' trending chipping style.